contest will be John Latham. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing red, white, and blue, and weighed in officially at 12 stone. Coming to us from Roumanie, France, he brings a professional record consisting of 10 wins, 12 defeats, 4 draws, with 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Khalid Graidia. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing gray with black and weighed in at 12 stone, 3 pounds. Hailing from Swadlincote, Derbyshire, England, he has a professional record of 22 wins, just 1 defeat, with 16 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former British and WBO International Champion, Zach Parker.
So final instructions from John Latham. This is billed as 10 rounds at super middleweight, but Zach Parker weighed in at 12 stone 3 yesterday, so it's a bit more of a catchweight contest. And after 10 months out, he's back in the ring. It's the first time we've seen him since he broke his hand against John Ryder at the O2, and he's in with a durable opponent tonight in Khalid Graidia, a man who, despite his records, had some good moments against decent fighters. What do you want to see tonight, Richie, from Parker?
I want to see a real positive performance, because obviously his last one, which was the biggest contest of his career, and obviously he had to pull out with the hand injury, so he's really got to make a statement here tonight. And this isn't an easy fight, Fletch. This Graidia, you know, he's a tough kid. He's only been stopped once, and that was 6 years ago, so this is a tough opponent to come back to. But Parker, lots and lots of skills. I like his technique and his style, but he's got to put on a performance tonight and just show people that he is back.
The best way to describe Graidia is he's wearing the Apollo Creed trunks. It's easy to confuse him with Rocky's trunks, but of course they were passed on, weren't they? So I think we saw Tyson Fury in similar trunks to that on one of his American excursions. So Zach Parker back in the ring. He said that he's had no problems whatsoever in sparring with the hand. I suppose he might just need to get his confidence back in the ring, but he has also talked about considering retirement after the John Ryder fight. But he started this fight quite well here, Richie. Already Graidia starting to feel the power of Parker, particularly to the body.
Well, Parker's a very skillful switch hitter. Now he's boxing as a southpaw. He can also box as an orthodox, and yeah, I think Graidia would prefer Parker to box as an orthodox boxer. Here as a southpaw, then Graidia's having a few problems, so it's a good start from Parker. It's positive, and he's just got to keep it going.
The damage to Parker's right hand, the metacarpal bone in the right hand in the 4th round against Ryder in November. That was an eliminator for Canelo Alvarez, so the injury did come at a significant cost that night. And as we mentioned, there's been some soul searching over the last 10 months, but here he is in there tonight and back on the trail of a world title, and mentioning the name of Anthony Yarde potentially somewhere down the line if he feels comfortable as a light heavyweight.
Well, he knows that he's obviously weighed in at 12-3, which is like an unofficial, it's a non-title fight for most super middles who come in around 12-3, 12-5. But obviously that, you know, he's weighed in 24 hours ago, so he could be about 12-10 now. So that's what he's referring to, just to see how he's going to be as a light heavyweight. He's probably 12-9, 12-10 as he's weighing, as he's boxing now. And yes, he's mentioning Anthony Yarde. That would be a big step up indeed. So that's why we've got to see him in a good contest here tonight, Fletch.
Inside the final 30 seconds of the first round here, this one scheduled for 10. The better work in there has come from Parker, who's been pretty keen to target the body, and he's been quite accurate with those shots, whipping them around the left elbow of Graidia in this opening round.
It's been a good round for him, but this is a 10-round contest, remember. Zach Parker's been out of the ring a long time, so he's just got to pace himself a little bit, but it's all one-way traffic in the first round for Parker.
pound. He's 25 pounds heavier than he was for the first fight. It's going to be fascinating. I think it's a fork in the road night, isn't it, for both of them?
It is indeed. And like Bunsey said, it's a contest he must win tonight, Joe, and obviously putting that 25 pound on. I don't know whether that's a good thing or bad thing, to be quite honest, because there's pluses and there's minuses for putting weight on, but we shall see. They've obviously got a game plan, and he's going to impose himself, hopefully, on Zhang. Should be good.
Which is saying there that it's a night where Joe Joyce has to win. It's also a night where Zach Parker has to win. His opponent in there, Khalid Graidia, is no stranger to us. He won a round against Karol Itaume and against the unbeaten Ezra Taylor, who fought here at Wembley earlier tonight, and he also went the distance, as Laura mentioned, with Dan Aziz over 8 rounds in his last fight. And he's got a relatively sturdy chin. I think you'd describe him as a tough and determined opponent, Richie, but there are limitations in terms of what he can actually do in there coming forward.
Well, he's struggling here, Graidia, as he's coming forward, Fletch, but he knows he's too far out, so he knows he's got to get up close. Parker's boxing's a southpaw, boxing really well, gets a little bit scrappy there.
Yeah, just tangled up the two of them. John Latham checking that everything's okay.
But like I've said, it's a 10-rounder this, and Parker, it's all happening for him at the moment. He's just got to pace himself. He's been out of the ring 10 months, like I've said. Boxing well, but Graidia is tough and he will keep coming, and he knows he's got to get closer to Parker. And for me, if he gets close enough to land the left hook, then that may be a punch that Parker's got to watch out for.
Good combination work from Parker, very accurate with those punches. Graidia took the well, that's what he does. Parker's been nice and sharp and nice and accurate in the opening couple of rounds here, the kind of rounds that he will need, I'm sure, to just rebuild that bit of confidence, both mentally and physically, after the Ryder fight. A fight he was ahead in on a couple of the scorecards that night before the injury. Ryder went on to be beaten by Canelo Alvarez, and Parker back in the ring this evening. Squeezed a nice uppercut through, and he follows it up with 2 or 3 more on the back of that. All of the punches really tonight coming from Zach Parker. There's not been a great deal at all coming back at this stage from Graidia.
Just showing his skill and talent here, isn't he? Parker just switched there back to orthodox momentarily, and caught Graidia with some good punches as well. So he really has got superb timing, and it's again, he's boxing at his pace, and it's suiting him down to the ground here. Parker, he's in the comfort zone at this stage of the contest.
Yeah, putting the punches together well, and then moving back out of range as well. There's that body shot that's been dug in behind the elbow on more than one occasion in the opening couple of rounds. So there's the bell. Let's hear from the juggernaut, Joe Joyce. He's with Josh Denzel.
Delighted to be joined by the juggernaut, Joe Joyce. Joe, you're looking calm, you're looking collected. This is probably a pivotal moment in your career, and you seem to be taking it in your stride.
Well, yeah, it's a big event, but I've been in big events. But yeah, I'm just calmer anyway in general. But it is a big fight, and I need to. I'm fully focused and thinking about what I'm going to do and stuff. And this is like the calm before the storm. I've just arrived in the changing room, so just trying to get my head around the whole thing, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to skip, because the ceiling's quite low. So it's a big fight, and there's a lot on the line here. So yeah, I'm focused on what we need to do.
So Joe Joyce says he's focused. I wouldn't skip in there if I was as tall as him, Richie, either. Otherwise he's going to knock himself out on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's part of his warm-up, isn't it, process.
Demeanour never changes, though, does it? He's always like that, Joe. He always comes across as very confident and very level-headed, but he's got a very difficult task tonight against Zhilei Zhang, who was outstanding against him in the first fight. We'll build up to that a little bit later on. That's the top of the bill. Before that, you'll see Anthony Yard back in the ring as well for the first time since he gave Artur Beterbiev so much to handle earlier in the year. Zach Parker back tonight, 3rd round of 10. This one billed at super middleweight. Parker slightly heavier than that, and he's been the better fighter in the opening couple of rounds so far.
Parker started this round rather as an orthodox boxer. Graidia just failed then to to take the advantage and try and jump on Parker a little bit. Again, just stayed at bay because he's too far out when Parker's boxing as a southpaw. But when he switches to orthodox like he does now, that gives Grady a chance, Flex, to maybe land a few shots and get close to Parker. But he's not taking advantage of it.
He's working the body really well here, Zach Parker. He'd won 22 in a row before losing to Ryder. And he says ideally he'd like to fight someone in the top 10 in his next fight. He's 29, doesn't want to hang around too long, got a good left hand in there, he's got a smile on his face. He's enjoying his work in there tonight, Parker.
He's boxing really well, he's putting his punches together, and this would be a really good performance if he could get the stoppage here. Grady, remember, has only been stopped once in his career. He's tough. His last 3 contests have been crackers, haven't they, against Ezra Taylor. Carol Itaume took him to points as well, and of course Dan Aziz, he got beat to Dan Aziz on points. So he's boxed quality opponents in his last 3 contests as Grady. If Parker could get a stoppage, that would send out a message.
Well, he'd be the first man to stop him since 2017 if he can do that tonight, Zach Parker, and that I suppose would be the perfect return. He's won the opening couple of rounds by quite a wide margin. He's on his way to making it 3 in a row here in the 3rd. Good body shot again. Hurtful punches those to the body of the Frenchman.
Yeah, that was a good shot. I think Grady really felt that one, Flex. That right hand to the body then. You see, look at the body language. It's just slowed him down a little bit there, Grady. That one right hand, yeah, that was a cracker, and now he's got him.
Well, just starting to open up and find the range and find the accuracy. There's a bit of damage around the nose of Grady. Zach Parker just dropping his hands and showing his confidence and letting the punches go. And he can't really miss at the moment. Uppercut. This has been a good round for Parker, who's really enjoying himself in there.
Attends, tu balances la 3e là, 3e round. C'est bon? C'est bon ou pas?
Let's have a look at some of Zach Parker's work then in the 3rd, Richie.
Yeah, some good work here from Parker towards the end of the round. They're working well with the jab. There was a couple of good body shots that went in. But Parker here on that front foot, more or less doing what he wants, scoring well. And it was a good round, especially towards the end of the round.
Had the riot act read to him to a large extent, Grady, in his corner between rounds. He's 40 years old. He's a Frenchman who's based in Switzerland. He's only won 10 of his 26 fights, but he's got this reputation of being durable, a man who gives you rounds, and that might just be what Parker needs tonight on his way back. And the more impressive he can look, the better that's going to be for him. And so far, he's not really put a foot wrong in there.
No, he's boxed well. Grady we've said he's durable. Well, that's going to be really tested here tonight. He's 40 years of age, remember, and you know, will he break down mentally if he just can't get to Parker? But Parker's landed some really good shots, but at the moment Grady he's come through it and he's okay, but he's getting weaker. I think he's getting weaker, a little bit weaker with those shots that he's taking. How strong and durable is he? We will soon find out here.
Very nice boxing from Parker, nice and elusive in the 4th round. He's got the Derby County badge on the back of the trunks. He had the Derby shirt on at the weigh-in yesterday. That's a nice solid uppercut that he manages to land with.
That was a cracking shot, and yet he's being picked off now here.
We finished that combination with a thudding right hand, didn't he?
Yeah, right hook around the guard of Grady, who's struggling a little bit here.
Really good work from Parker, who's certainly warmed to the task. He's in complete control at the moment. He's started to mark up a little bit, Grady, as well, because of the accuracy of Parker's punches, particularly around the eyes. There's another good right hand. Well, he told us before the fight, Richie, that he got the fire back in his belly, despite that talk about considering his future. Should he go and get a proper job, or should he get back in the ring? And all the indications are that the fire still burns brightly here for Zach Parker.
Well, he's been out the ring 10 months and he probably needs a few rounds, and he's certainly getting it here. It's all a one way at the moment, but Grady, to his credit, has come through it and he's still in there. But it's body shots like that I think will really slow him down. But Parker at the moment at distance, he's boxing Grady's head off. He really is. It's a really masterful, skillful display from Parker at this stage.
30 seconds to go in the fourth. Another good round for Parker.
What he can't afford to do though, Fletch, is get complacent. You can't against an opponent like Grady, because that's what Grady will be hoping for. But he gets complacent, makes the odd mistake, leaves himself open. But at the moment, Parker is boxing a perfect contest.
Well, let's have a listen in here to Zach Parker's corner. He's got Errol Johnson in there with him.
Deep breath. Feel good? Yeah. Keep the thinking brain on. Keep it sharp. Little feints. Keep the feints going and making him miss. Bump that jab into him all the time. Swipe his nose a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Okay, deep breaths. Come on. Suck it in. Find that little bit of speed as well with the shots, yeah? Just change that angle on him all the time. He's not seeing him coming now. And that little uppercut when you've made him miss sometimes, yeah?
A good work here from Parker. Look at that boxing at range, staying on the outside, and that was the best shot of the round. That left uppercut as Grady come forward, just adjusts his feet and brings him onto that shot. But this was another sequence there where he just lands the left hook round the guard of Grady. Good boxing.
And you can see why he's able to take opponents the whole way, can't you, Grady? Because he takes the shot very well. What a great attitude about him. The fact that Parker's gone into the fifth round, this is the furthest he's been in a fight for 3.5 years since he went to P11 against Rohan Murdoch in Manchester. So rounds in the bag and under the belt here on the comeback tonight for Zach Parker. First fight for 10 months since that broken hand against John Ryder.
Yeah, what's important here for Parker tonight? Oh, super punch. That was a cracker. The quality of that shot there, the counter, that was really top draw there from Parker.
Showing the full repertoire in there tonight, Parker. Been some really eye-catching moments from him in the opening 4 rounds, and they're continuing here into the fifth.
A bit of a low blow there from Grady. Referee just having a word. He did acknowledge it as well. He knew that he threw it and he put his hand up. But yeah,
of course, we know all about belly buttons and all that kind of thing now, don't we, after what's happened over the last couple of months?
That's very true.
I don't think anybody's in any doubt anymore what constitutes a low blow. And we shouldn't be, should we?
Like I said before, Fletch, what I was going to say is it's important for Parker. It's just he keeps it going and keeps the movement going also. Doesn't want to be too static and give Grady a chance to land a big shot. But again, he's totally outboxing his opponents up to now.
Solid right hand in there, little grimace on the face of Grady. Then the left through the guard. Body shots as well. I think what's impressed me the most about Parker so far tonight, Rich, he's hardly wasted a punch.
He's been very accurate. His skill has been exceptional here tonight.
You get the feeling he's starting to systematically break him down. We know that he's got tremendous courage and he's a very brave man. Khalid Grady, but these are heavy, hurtful shots that are coming in here from Parker, and he's not missing with many either. Inside the final minute of round number 5.
He's making Grady miss now, and sometimes he's actually switching going backwards, and that's always the best way to switch from southpaw to orthodox. He switches going backwards, then he turns and then throws a left or right uppercut, the opposite stance. So very good indeed from Parker, and again his skill is exceptional here tonight.
Just falling short with that right hand, digs the left into the body. It's been another good round here for Parker. He's been impressive on his comeback to the ring. And there's the bell to end the 5th. So welcome back to the OVO Arena in Wembley. as we enjoy some of Zach Parker's work.
That's the best shot of the contest for me up to now. Look at that defensive move there, and then comes back with that left uppercut. Counter punching at its finest there from Parker, who had a good round again.
Well, they come then for the 6th. I mean, he's spoken about potentially stepping up, and he's mentioned the name of Anthony Yard. He was campaigning as a super middleweight when he fought John Ryder. Everything was focused on the fight with Canelo Alvarez before he broke his hand. What do you think the path should be for Parker, Richie?
I think this is a good match for him up to now, Fletch. He needs the rounds under his belt because he's had a bit of ringing activity. Then it's up to him if he wants to campaign at super middle or go up to light heavy. He knows Yard's up there, which would be a great contest because they're both in the same stable. He's said that. And why not? He wants to test himself against the best. I actually think Anthony Yard is world class. Only really Kovalev, Arthur, Lyndon Arthur, and also Beterbiev have beaten him. And the fights against Beterbiev and Kovalev, they were absolute crackers, weren't they? So, yes, I think for his future, answering your question, a fight up at light heavy, if he comes through this okay, why not?
He's certainly got the frame to fight at light heavy, carried the weight quite comfortably. Every round so far tonight's taken a familiar pattern, pitching a shutout at the moment. Zach Parker, good body shot, just forced Graidia just to drop his hands a second there in acknowledgement of the power.
Yeah, good work again from Parker, and Graidia is really feeling these shots, and he's a tough guy, we know that. He's only been stopped once in that 6 years, so maybe it's the body shots that Parker's got to concentrate to slow this guy right down and try and get him out of there. But he's tough, you've got to give credit to this fella. Graidia, he is a tough cookie.
Body shot, thundered it again there from Parker.
He's quite a deceiving sort of opponent, Graidia, Fletch, because there are times during this round where you think, you know, should Parker step it up maybe a little bit and go for it? You know, he's hitting him with everything. Can he get him out of there? But that would be a risk because we know he's tough. And I think Parker knows that also, so he's still boxing, you know, with a bit of intelligence on the outside. He knows he's up against a tough man. And that's probably the right choice at this stage. I think there's still enough left in the tank for Grady. He keeps coming forward.
Final 10 seconds of another dominant round. Great body shot, following up with a 2-punch combination as well. Just stares at him and smiles. And there's the bell. Let's hear from Anthony Yard. He fights tonight. He's with Josh.
Get back into the mix of things. That's why they were going to try and put me in another show because of the late pullout. I said, no, please get me someone. I need to be active. I just want to fight. It's been a long time, so it's just about activity.
You're well on the way to being the best in the division, and I'll let you go. You got big business. Go handle business, bro. Pleasure.
Anthony Yard here and ready for work. Into the 7th of 10 here between Zach Parker and Khalid Graidia. I'm looking forward to seeing Anthony Yard back in the ring. The night that we saw him in there against Artur Beterbiev, I think he went up in everybody's estimation, Richie. He was brilliant that night.
Yeah, he was indeed. You know, he was beaten, but what a performance he put in, and really showed his mettle in that contest, I think, and his skills also. So he was beaten by the better man on the night, but at the end of the day, I think he showed that he is world class, and I really believe that Yard has got the ability to become a world champion.
The last 6 fights that Parker's been involved in have all ended inside the distance. The last time he went all the way was against Darryl Williams for the British title. That was back in November 2018. I'm starting to get the feeling that he might have to go that route here, because I agree with you. I think he's a little bit reluctant to really open up, knowing that he doesn't want to punch himself out in there.
Yeah, exactly. So he's boxing clever here, so he just gets caught with the shot there. His feet have slowed down a little bit, and we spoke about that earlier, didn't we? That he's got to keep the movement going, because Grady is struggling with the movement from Parker. So if he slows his feet down, then that will allow Grady to come back with the odd shot here and there. But yeah, Parker needs the rounds under his belt. He's had a bit of ring inactivity, and this has been a good contest for him in that respect against a tough man.
I think it goes back to what Richie said right at the very start tonight, that if he does get the stoppage here tonight, Parker, that would be an exceptional result for him. It's all about making the comeback tonight and then seeing what lies ahead. It's another round where he's been the dominant man in there.
Bit of a slower round, I think, from both boxers. I think they're both slowed down a little bit, feeling the pace. For Parker, it's just his output, isn't it? He's worked hard throughout the contest, thrown much more than his opponent. But again, Grady is still not out of there, and that's not a bad shot.
The body shots that he's landing, Richie, must be having an effect on Grady.
See, there's that left hook. We spoke about it earlier. The left hook could be the problem for Parker. But he's rarely landed it. A little glimpse there from Grady. But he could have some success with that shot. I think Grady also, Fletch, is reluctant to make a mistake here, because every mistake he's made, he's been punished.
Wembley Arena starting to fill nicely. Let's have a listen into Zach Parker's corner.
Thanks. How you feel? Good?
Looks like I'm
Yeah, you had a round up. Played a round up in 10 rounds, son.
round 8 now.
8, 9, 10. 3 rounds to go, son.
3 rounds, son.
Deep breaths. Feel good? Good lad, good lad.
That's good, Zach.
Keep that jab,
3 rounds,
keep that jab popping again. Keep his nose fucking broken and banging him from 8 angles, got me? Just needs an extra 1 or 2 on your movement. Yeah? Deep breaths. Hey? Yeah, no, you look good.
Yeah, you look very good.
Right. You look good, son. Come on.
Well, it's being called off the corner. The Grady corner have called off the action, and Zach Parker does get the stoppage win. Errol Johnson had just said to Zach Parker in the corner, keep popping out the jab, because I think he's got a broken nose, and I wonder whether that might be the reason why the Grady corner have called a halt to proceedings, and Zach Parker is back. Zach Parker is back with a win, and Zach Parker was impressive in there tonight.
He was indeed, and that's a good victory to get the stoppage there. We spoke about it at the start of the contest. That would be a really good performance, because this guy doesn't get stopped. He's been stopped once in 6 years. He's tough, he's cagey, and he's patient, is Grady. He waits and waits and waits, and then really tries to get on his opponent. But he was outboxing every round, every second of every round. And Zach Parker there has got valuable rounds under his belt, no question. He's been out 10 months, and that was a punch-perfect display. And you've got to give credit to also Grady's corner. They've pulled their boxer out. They know he's a tough kid, but he's just taking more and more punishment.
Well, Zach Parker was honest enough to say that he's had some soul-searching. He didn't know whether to call it quits and get himself a job, but he's back in now after 10 months, and he's back with a victory. His 17th stoppage, his 23rd victory from 24 fights, and for the first time since 2017, Khalid Graidia has failed to hear the final bell, and we can only presume it's damage to the nose. That seemed to be the consensus in the Parker corner between rounds.
Yeah, he's been dismantled, hasn't he, round by round, and he's picked up a bit of damage. We think it's with the nose, and all credit to his corner for pulling him out, to be quite honest, because he was just totally outboxed there. That's a good display, Zach Parker.
Well, that's only the second time that Grady has been stopped, and bigger men than Zach Parker have failed to do it. He's back, he's smiling, he's back on the winning trail. We'll find out soon what's next for him. Before all that, let's get the official result tonight from Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 7 completed rounds of boxing, the blue corner advises our referee in charge, John Latham, to stop the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, Zach Parker.
So Zach is back, winner by technical knockout, and Zach Parker's career is back on track here, Laura.